programs and burial discount. You want me to start that? Okay. So as soon as I'm done with the living benefits, the dental division, the hearing, all that stuff, I move straight into the transition, right? The meats and potatoes. So the last thing that we do, the most important thing that we do, what we specialize in, and what you had actually requested the information on, is the information on the new state regulated final expense life insurance programs and burial discount plans. So I told you my state license was so cool earlier. This is awesome for quite a few different reasons. So the first thing that this allows me to do is work with everybody in the state, not just one company or one plan like most people, okay? So really I'm trying to build as much credibility in my license as I possibly can. I'm a young guy, many of y'all are young. Trying to build up that credibility, build up yourself and what you have with you, right? So as soon as I go over, hey, I don't work for any insurance company. I work with all of them. Honestly, I don't care about any of these insurance companies with Johnson. I care about you. So this is great because this allows me, if you have something in place currently, to look over and review it with you, make sure you're getting everything you're supposed to be getting. Because ever since COVID, all these companies, and then I scroll down, all these companies started adding in extra discounts, extra benefits, free upgrades, cash back, extra riders, all sorts of stuff that you're entitled to. Nursing home benefits, terminal illness, terminal cancer benefits, accidental coverage, common carrier coverage, all sorts of stuff. So, and if you didn't have anything in place, and then I scroll down a little bit more, my license allows me to give you my best recommendation on what plan, what company is going to give you the most amount of coverage possible. And I use a lot of body language, the most amount of coverage possible for the least amount of price out of your wallet, Ms. Johnson. So you probably recognize quite a few of these companies, right? Yep. And you said you were coming out of pocket for life insurance already? Yeah, you are. Okay, awesome. So we'll definitely be able to help you out with that. And that's
So,
kind of my transition from there to there.
yeah, I think all these are going to sound very similar, but Romans, I want to hear yours. Start from the most important thing we do right after the benefits.
Okay, so yeah, Miss Johnson, the last thing we do, the most important thing we do, is what we specialize in, and where we're able to help the most people save the most amount of money as far as discounts. Probably why you sent the card back in our state regulated final expense programs. So because I deal with that, I got to be licensed by the state. So this is my state license here. That's me, Brandon Romans. So the reason I'm able to help so many people with this is because I don't work for any one insurance company. I'm actually licensed by the state to partner with all the A+ state regulated carriers. So that gives me the ability to shop around for you based on your health, your age, what you're looking to accomplish, your budget, most importantly, and what you currently have, and find you a plan that's going to give you the best rates and provide you and your family with the most value. Now, I am licensed in other states too: Alabama, North Carolina, Mississippi, da 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 da. Um, so, Ms. Johnson, you probably recognize some of the companies we work with. I know you've heard of Marico, right? Mutual of Omaha. You probably got some letters in the mail from them. Gerber, the baby food, New York Life, MetLife, AARP. We work with a lot of different companies, right? So, when it comes to life insurance, this is the most important slide I'm going to show you here.
Man, sounds, I mean, very similar. Rinse and repeat. Mine sounds very similar. Mine's, hey, Miss Johnson, the last thing we do, and this is the power phrase, guys. These are the power phrase. Hey, the last thing we do. So it's like, hey, listen up. We're almost done. Last thing. The most important thing we do, hey, listen, this is better than stuff I just told you. And I always say what most people out for is help with the state regulated life insurance and final expense programs. Now, since we deal with insurance, we got to be licensed by the State Department of Insurance that we operate in. We're in Georgia, so I'm a Georgia license. Now I'm licensed in a ton of states. I'm scrolling down through here and it's a bunch of state licenses because all these states trust me, Ms. Johnson, to come help people in their home with their life insurance. Now, being licensed by we don't work for one company. We partner with all the companies here in Georgia. So what we're able to do is two things. I go to Andrew Everhart's transition in the document that you got with everything we say verbatim. Allows me to do two things, Ms. Johnson. Doesn't work every time, but for people that are paying attention, if you deliver right, the first thing that we do for people that have stuff in place, so I'm telling you, hey, if you have something in place, you're not going to tell me I already got something. For people that have stuff in place, we're going to take a look at it. We're going to make sure you're taking advantage of all the new, you don't have it yet, the new discounts and benefits become available since COVID. Use that COVID shit to your advantage. These people eat that stuff off a silver platter. A lot of these companies are giving away extra benefits now since COVID. Many people are aware of them, maybe accidental coverage for free. heck, maybe even cancer coverage, terminal illness, and sometimes nursing home. So I'm going to make sure that that gets put on your plan, Miss Johnson, if it's not on there already. All right. And then the second thing for people that don't have enough, or maybe that are looking, we make sure that we recommend the best company for their situation. Because Miss Johnson, let's face it, every person is different, and all these companies specialize in different. Like Gerber's got really good kid plans. You know, for people that smoke, America gives the best smoker rates. So what we want to do is match you up, your situation, with the best company, maximize your portfolio, get you the best rates, and then pause. Guys, it sounds very similar. We're all saying the same things. And if you say it and you deliver it with confidence in your voice, these people are not going to stop you. All right. If you're getting stopped in step 5, it's because your step 4 is not good enough. So I recorded this. I'll send it out to everybody. Unlike all 3 of ours, which ours are very similar, you're not doing it right. If it doesn't sound like that, you're not doing it right. If you're not doing it right, don't expect to make the sales that we're making, because we all say this, and that's how Max taught us, that's how Andrew taught us. So guys, it's in your control. If you want to say it right, listen to this recording, write it all out, write out what yours sounds like, see they're not matching up, or you're not saying it with the same confidence, okay? All right, Carter, so now we're at the 3 types of insurance. This to me is the most important thing, all right? If you can't explain the 3 types of insurance, like how you call yourself an insurance agent, this shit's not that hard, guys. I mean, how do you do it? How do you communicate it?
So something that I wanted to add on to what you said real quick, saying it with conviction, right? Like, you know exactly what you're saying before you even like have to even think about it, right? Like, you're saying it, it's just rolling off the tongue. You know what you're saying exactly, when you're going to say it, how you're going to say it, the tonality in which you're going to say it. And then the other thing that I was going to hit on too, kind of like what you were just talking about a second ago, I guess, just lost my train of thought, but saying it with conviction definitely is probably the most important part. That's what I was going to say. So it doesn't have to be exactly verbatim. You just need to know what you're going to say, right? Like, you're telling them what a broker does. Hey, I don't work for any of these insurance companies. I work with all of them. And then, you know, tell them what your license allows you to do. Like, it doesn't have to be word for word exactly. Like, all of ours were a little bit different, but the main points were all the same, right? It allows me to work with all the plans. It allows me to review what you have. And if you don't have anything at all, it allows me to give you my best recommendation on, you know, on for the best plan for you, right? So
They're trying to beat these objections before they come up. I don't want somebody to say, yeah, I'm good, I don't need it. Hey, I already told you we were working with people that already have it. And then sometimes you throw out there, already got it. Hey, you already have to have this in order to get the benefits. So buckle up. I'm about to help you out. All right, Carter. So now 3 types of insurance. How do you communicate that?
yep. So transitioning from, you know, the carriers, right? That's kind of when I go into what Roman's just said a minute ago. You know, Gerber, you probably recognize them. You probably get stuff from them through the mail. They got real good baby food. All these guys, you know, AIG, CFG, Liberty Bankers, Transamerica, Mutual of Omaha, you probably get stuff from them. New York Life, Colonial Penn, you probably seen them on the TV, right? Jonathan, you have that 995. AARP, you're probably part of them. Globe Life, you probably get them in through the mail. But Miss Johnson, more importantly than who you have, the name of the company, is the type of insurance that you have. Has anybody ever gone over the different types of insurance with you? And I would say 80% or more are going to say, no, nobody's ever gone over the different types of insurance with me. Okay, well, hey, I'm going to run through them with you real quick, just so we're on the same page. And if they say, oh, yeah, I know about the different types of insurance, perfect. I'm just going to give you a quick refresher so we are on the same page, right? So there's 3 different types. There's term, and then there's 2 different types of whole life, right? There's traditional whole life, and then there's universal whole life. So the first thing that I look at is term. I zoom in, you know, try to cover the entire screen with term. And this is just easier for me to remember because there's little clues all around, you know, the actual like diagram. So term, we typically don't recommend to too many folks over the age of 45 or 50 for a few different reasons. So we don't recommend them because it's only good for a term or a part of your life. Stands for terminating life insurance. So every couple years, they go up in price. They cancel on you, that big old stop sign. They cancel on you typically when you turn 70, 75, or 80 years old. And you see that green line, stays at 0 forever. It doesn't ever generate a cash value. But most importantly, less than 1% pass during these terms, meaning that 99% of the time, families don't ever see a dime or dollar from these plans. So, Ms. Johnson, typically these are those plans that you see off the TV, over the phone, through the mail, over the radio, over the internet, $1 a day for $1 million worth of life insurance. Now, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is, right? And oh yeah, I've heard that before. Yep. Okay, so the second type of insurance is traditional whole life. Now, this is what we recommend to most folks over the age of 45 or 50 because it's good for your whole entire life, right? Once you get approved, the payments don't ever go up, the benefit doesn't ever go down, generates cash value over time, almost like a bank account or a savings account. So this is where things get a little bit tricky. Universal whole life is almost like term and whole had a really nasty baby. Now, if I'm sitting down with somebody that's super, super healthy and I think I'm going to pitch them an IULE or, they've been asking about infinite banking or something like that, I'm not going to totally poo-poo on these, right? So, hey, there's really, really good ones of these and there's really, really bad ones as well. So this is what a bad one looks like. It's almost like a term life and a whole life had a really nasty baby. It looks like whole life at the beginning and then it acts like term life at the end. It eats all that cash value away. And then what happens is the insurance company, they actually send you a little letter in through the mailbox saying, hey, you're all out of cash value. You either need to start paying 7, 8, 9, 10 times as much as you were paying in the beginning, or you can cancel it. What do you want to do? Most people are going to want to cancel it because they just can't afford paying $1,000 a month, Miss Johnson. Have you ever heard of that before? And usually they'll say, yeah. Or oh, that's highway robbery. Yep. But part of the fact, like knowing how to explain universals, like a lot of people don't know how universals work. So knowing it before you go in and trying to pitch somebody and tell them why universal is bad, you got to know why it's bad or how they operate, how they work, right? The way universals work, you have a plan premium that you're going to be paying every single month, but you also have a cost of insurance. So every single year that you get older, the cost of insurance is going to go up. So it's 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, all the way up until eventually that cost of insurance passes what you're paying every single month. That's when it starts to eat all that cash value away that you generated at the beginning. Woodmans of the world do a lot of universals. Yeah, they do. Yeah, that's all they do. And universals, yeah, they get called a bunch of different things: adjustable whole life, flexible whole life, universal whole life, variable universal whole life. So just knowing that before you go into those situations is huge.
Man, them universals are complicated, Carter.
Yeah,
How are you supposed to communicate that to the client that doesn't know anything in 30 seconds? Like, don't get into the weeds, guys. I mean, don't get Brandon, how do you communicate the 3 types of insurance? Sound about the same? Let's hear yours.
Last thing, Ms. Johnson, this is the most important slide I'm going to show you here. These are the 3 different types of life insurance. So you got term life, whole life, and universal life. So, term life is just like it sounds. It's only going to last the term of your life. It was really designed for people under the age of 50, like maybe if they just bought a house or just had a baby. So all the money you pay into it, you don't ever get back. And it's not permanent. It will expire before you do. And it goes up in price. It was really designed for like mortgage protection for young people. Now, whole life is the second type. So whole life's also just like it sounds. This is going to last your whole life. So this was really designed for people over the age of 50, or really anyone whose main goal for their life insurance was to cover their final expenses or to leave a gift behind for their family. So with whole life, your price is locked in. The premiums never increase. The death benefit never decreases. And it builds cash value kind of like a forced savings account. Have you ever heard of somebody borrowing against their insurance policy? Yeah, I have. Perfect. It's a whole life policy. It's like a savings account. Nice to know you have it if you need it, right? Now, universal life's the third type. Have you ever heard of that one? So this would be if they're not healthy enough to get it. Have you ever heard of that one? No? Okay. Most people haven't. Most people never even heard of it. So universal life is kind of like a term and a whole life combined. Now you got to be careful because some people will call these whole life policies flexible premium whole life, adjustable premium whole life. It's not a true whole life. The way it works is you pay the same amount. The price will never change on you, right? Like the whole life policy. But there's a thing called the cost of insurance. So when you start paying, the cost of insurance on you is under what you're paying each month. But what they don't tell you is every birthday that you have, the cost of insurance goes up. So as soon as that cost of insurance gets to be past what you're paying each month, They'll start taking the difference from your cash value, which will make it go down. So see how that line goes down? It'll keep going down until it hits zero. And when it hits zero, you know, they force you into a tough situation. They're either going to send you a letter in the mail saying you either got to cancel it, or they're going to send you a letter in the mail saying, hey, you got to pay for the cost of insurance on yourself every month. It's usually about 10 times higher than what you're already paying. If I can sell it, you know, I'd be like, now the third type's universal life. This is kind of like a term and a whole life combined. You know, they're really, really difficult to qualify for, but if you do, they're not hard to qualify for because they're bad policies, right? And then I'll explain to them, you know, at a certain point, the cost of insurance will go past what you're paying each month, and they will take from your cash value, but there'll be enough cash value there to last you until age 120. If we're being honest, nobody sitting on the Zoom right now is going to live past the age of 120, right?
Yeah, guys. So that's a good point. You need to be aware, and step 3 will help you do this, of who you're, because we're not bashing Universal if we're selling them an IULE. Okay. Now, Mutual of Omaha with their Easy Solve makes it designed just like a whole life, so you don't have to really worry about it running out before these, you know, when these people are 79, 80, 85. So, but the point is, when these guys are aware that if somebody's 50 years old, that they don't have any insurance and they're wanting $100,000, we're not going to bash UL. Okay. They're mostly talking about people that's maybe got some health condition, 70s, looking for a $10,000 final expense policy. But Brandon's and Carter's are very similar. I think mine's going to be pretty similar as well. Carter, you have anything to add first?
Yeah, I was gonna add on to what Ryder just said real quick in the chat. Use rules of 3, except for universal. I use rules of 3 throughout the entire presentation. Hey, there's a couple different things about each one, and just being able to interpret it, but also explain it at a kindergarten level or like a 5th grade level. Like a lot of these people that we sit down with, for the most part, you know, I wouldn't say they're the smartest book smart, but they're very smart street smart, right? So, you know, just being able to get that knowledge across to some of these people, you know, you have to be able to explain, you know, these different types of insurance in a very elementary or rudimentary way, just so that they can understand it. Like a lot of the big words, I take out big words. Like a lot of the big vocabulary that I use, I just throw out entirely. Hey, and I'll get to that in a minute, but like, you know, make sure that your policy doesn't ever cancel on you or go up in price. You know, I don't use the other words, like your premiums, your carriers, whatever, you know, your company, your plan, your payments, stuff like that. I want to like dumb it down as much as I possibly can.
Yeah, man. It's a good point. So I'm going to go through again, transition phrases from one part to another. I like yours, Carter, because mine's kind of the same. When you're showing the carrier page, hey, Ms. Johnson, more important than the company you get is the kind of insurance you get. Guys, use that. More important than the company you get is the kind of insurance you get. All right. When it comes to life insurance, there's a couple main types. I just say a couple main types. Okay. There's term life and a couple kinds of whole life. All right. You know about, Carter, you know about the term and the whole? You know about those? You do? Okay. Tell me about I did that today. Tell me about term. It's like, well, I kind of know about it. Okay. Well, let me tell you about term. All right. So kind of just flexing on them a little bit because they think they know. Okay. Tell me about term. Oh, you don't? Okay. Let me tell you about it. And then that kind of sits them back down in their seat. Now they're a student again. They don't think they know more than you because you're about to tell them. All right. All right. Term life. Zoom in as they listen. I don't care what you get a term plan through. It's always going to have 3 things in common. Number 1, always going to go up on you in price. It will not say this forever. And if you know they done told you it's an AARP or a Globe or a Senior Life, and maybe they said it's 1,000, well, you know, companies offer 50,000 our whole life. So it's probably one of the 5-year noble terms. So I'm going to say it's going to go up on you in price, number 1. Usually every 5 years. Usually when your birthday ends on a 5 or a 0, happy birthday, Miss Johnson, pay double. Happy birthday, pay double. Happy birthday, pay double. How's that for a birthday present? Number 2, Miss Johnson, you see right there, 0 cash value the whole time. You know what that means? You get in a bind. You can't borrow off this. You paying in all that money. You need some money. You call them up. No cash to get it. Can't borrow. 3, okay, it stands for terminating life insurance. Miss Johnson, these things terminate. All right, that's the point. Okay, and if you really know how they make money, they make a lot of money off term. Because Miss Johnson, if you take a phone, you ask Google what percentage of term life pays out, first thing that pops up, 99% never result in a claim. You can do that on your phone in the house with the client. Bam. So now you have instant credibility if they got a damn term. All right. Now their eyes are like popped open. Okay, Miss Johnson, most people don't want something that's going to go up, don't want something that's going to cancel. All right. So they want a whole life plan. The problem is, Miss Johnson, there's two types of whole life. Like, which one do you get? All right. There's traditional whole, there's whole universal, and both of these gain cash value. So people will jump in a policy, they'll see they got cash. Oh, I'm good. I don't have term. Ms. Johnson, that's not true. Make sure what type you get because it's really important to know how it's going to perform later. Let's look at the first half of the graphs, Ms. Johnson. If you zoom in and you look at these graphs, they are, other than the color being different, identical in the first 10, 15 years. Different, okay? But Ms. Johnson, do you buy insurance for now or you buy it for later when your family's going to need it the most? Well, let's scroll over to the other side, all right? Here's where it gets different. Traditional whole life, Ms. Johnson, look at that line. The cash value only goes up, all right? This is locked in, never changes. The cash value only goes up and the coverage lasts your whole life. It's the only one that's guaranteed with no stop sign. Now, whole universal, it says whole life right on the front of your policy. How are you supposed to know? Okay. You're supposed to keep up with this thing 10, 15 years after you get it and see what your cash value is doing. Because when it there, Ms. Johnson, you see that stop sign? Yeah. It turns into a term plan, becomes annually renewable. Your price goes through the roof. You can't afford it and you got to cancel it. This is what happens. You ever heard about somebody pay for insurance 15, 20 years and then they can't afford it? One day it just goes through the roof. They can't afford it. They got to let it go. Now they have no insurance. And all these ladies, they all know somebody that it happened to. And they're all like, yep, yep. Well, Miss Johnson, which one did you say you have? Who'd you say you have? So now they're confused as shit, right? They don't know what a whole life is. They don't know what a universal life is. You done confused them, scared them. So this is the transition to step 5. If you do a good job in step 4, give them a little bit in and a lot of confusion, well, bam, you're sitting there as the expert, just told them what's going to happen with these different things. When you ask for that policy, they're probably more inclined to go get it and let you look at it. Pause right there. You got anything else to add?
Yeah, I was gonna say just real quick. So as soon as I'm done, explaining universal, I zoom out a little bit. Which one of those three sounds the best to you, Miss Johnson? Well, the whole life, of course. And then as soon as I get buy-in saying, hey, I want a whole life is, the best plan possible, then I'm gonna move into the next slide. If they say, oh, I don't really know, what? You don't really know? Which one of those three sounds the best to you? The one that's gonna go up in price or the one that's gonna last forever?
Yeah, start asking
Pretty
questions.
easy answer. Yeah.
Yeah. So they don't have insurance, guys. I mean, you're not going to step 5. There's no policy review needed. So that's a good point. Like at the end, if I know they don't have insurance and they've told me they don't have anything, then at the end, hey, Miss Johnson, knowing what you want to do and what you want to accomplish, which one of those would you want? Obviously they're going to pick whole life every time. If they have insurance, it's so important to use them a little bit with the 3 types that at the very end, Miss Johnson, who'd you say you had again? Like very curiously asking the question. Then they're going to be like, shit, I don't know what I got. Let's see who. And then that's when you start asking questions about, well, who's taking that money out of your account? Like, do you know what you're paying for? Did they go over this? When you took that out, did they sit down and tell you about this? Are you aware which one you have? Ms. Johnson, let's take 5 minutes and peace of mind for the rest of your life. Like, go grab that thing or go get me a bank statement. I'm going to be calling them. Make it a big deal. And then, guys, okay, as a new, we're a lot in policy review. We get all the way through step 3. Step 4, we say our lines. We maybe not nail them, but we get through them. And here we're at the end. I'm like, I remember those days. I'm like, I just got through this thing. Now, what do I do next?
Now what?
Right? To just bring the policy to me, and I gotta, I think, call, and hopefully the phone number's on there because I don't have video. I'm saving my phone. Like, what do I do next? Hey, what do I do? So, guys, a lot of us, including myself, we're getting blocked like right there. So it's important to have a really good step 4, and then bam, have some transition phrases on when somebody. Okay, now we're talking about people that have policies. And they're still sitting there, maybe like this. Maybe they're not engaged. Carter, what are you saying to these people to, maybe cause a little doubt? Maybe get them to get up to get that policy?
Man, I was just thinking too, that's a great question. So, I always ask, I totally forgot to include it, but I always ask, hey, you're coming out of pocket, or are you coming out of pocket for prescriptions, dental, vision, hearing? Because I want to cut down on as much time as possible in the houses if someone's, to see if I'm going to spend the next 30 minutes with them or not. So you said you were coming out of pocket for prescriptions, dental, vision, hearing. Now, did you say you were coming out of pocket for final expenses? Yeah, I am. So, now I know that they are already paying something for insurance, right? So, by the time that I get down here, go over the different types of insurance. Hey, now who did you say is taking money out of your bank account? Who are you paying right now for your insurance?
I got senior life.
Yeah, okay, you got senior life? Okay, I do a ton of work with them. I don't care if they say I have the worst insurance company in the history of the world. I have, dog crap insurance company, the F rated, whatever it is. Hey, they're a good company. I do a ton of work with them. So when it comes to insurance, Miss Johnson, and I always go over this page, right? So when it comes to insurance, Miss Johnson, I typically run into one of three different types of people, or maybe a mixture. Okay. So the first type of person is someone in the wrong type of plan. So a plan that's either going to go up in price later on or cancel on you in the future. I don't go over, at expires or premiums increase. I don't go over, term or universal. Hey, either going to go up in price or going to cancel on you later on. The second type of person that I run into is somebody maybe just paying a little bit too much for their current insurance policy. And then the last type of person that I run into is someone that either doesn't have enough, doesn't have anything at all, or isn't taking advantage of everything that they could be taking advantage of. Which one sounds the most like you? And after you told them up here earlier, hey, all these companies have started adding in all these extra discounts and benefits and upgrades and riders and cashback and free insurance and so on and so forth, not taking advantage of everything that I could be taking advantage of. That might sound the most like me, but I'm literally just borrowing parts of the presentation and using them in other parts of the presentation, right? But as soon as I go over that, Brandon, what do you got? Hey,
I mean,
which one of these three sounds the most like you? Not taking advantage of everything, paying a little bit too much, or in the wrong type of plan?
what I like about you did it twice, man. It's like the fear of missing out. So you're telling that you're telling me as the client sitting across from you, like some of my peers are getting extra stuff that they weren't aware they should be getting, but now you found out that they should be getting, and then you just told me again that I'm not taking of everything I could be. I don't want somebody else to, that I could be getting too, because it's keeping up with the Joneses, guys. Like, these clientele. I mean, we're all guilty of it. So these people are definitely going to be running towards that. So it's going to pique their curiosity. The point here, guys, is we want to make people have a little doubt with what they're getting or what they're not getting, right? And then we're going to offer a solution with asking them these questions right here, categorizing them where they have to pick one. It can't be none of those. I know Jordan's saying on the call this week, like he doesn't like that page, but I think it's good because of what you put on at the very end to pique their curiosity about, hey, well, what about that last one? I don't know. What about that last one, Carter?
Yeah, so maybe you're not taking advantage of everything that you could be taking advantage of.
Yeah, I mean, I know I got a senior life. They told me I'd never go up in price.
Or, like I said, I do a ton of work with that plan. And notice how I said plan, because I don't say company, carrier, any of that stuff. I do a ton of work with that plan, that exact plan that you have, right? So the last thing that we'll do is, since you sent that card back to us, if they sent a card back to us, if they didn't send a card back to us, hey, the last thing that we're going to do, since I'm here, is just the no cost policy review. I'm going to go over a couple different things. Make sure that your policy doesn't ever cancel on you. Make sure the payments don't ever go up, and then see if you're entitled to any of those new discounts, benefits, upgrades, riders, cashback, or free insurance that you're entitled to. So I know you said you had senior life. Let me see. Then I'm going to pull up a client note, or pull up the client note that I already marked on, right? If they don't have anything in place currently, so step 7, everybody should know what step 7 is: summarize value and riders. Step 7 to me is question asking, and then summarize value and riders. So I want to know their goals. I want to know their budget. I want to know how much coverage they, think that they're going to get in that step, right? So as soon as I come over here, if they have something in place, I'm writing down senior life at the top. In this instance, it's Mutual of Omaha. You know, if they have their policy in hand, perfect, awesome. I don't care. I'm still going to call. Hey, you know, what we're going to do real quick, I'm just going to give them a call and I'm going to prep the person that I'm sitting across with. You know, hey, I'm going to give them a call real quick, see if there's anything at all that I could do to help you out with this plan. If you're in the best spot possible, hey, you know, cool, great, awesome. If I can help you, I can help you. If I can't, I can't. No big deal, no harm, no foul. But hey, I'm gonna get them on the phone real quick. We're gonna call them. They're probably gonna ask you for your name, your street address, maybe your phone number, your date of birth, maybe the last four of your social, and then they're gonna ask if it's okay to talk to me. All you do is say yes, and then I'm gonna ask them some quick questions, see if there's anything that at all that I could do to help you out. So if they don't have anything in place currently, you know, hey, basically pull up that file, take a screenshot, send it up to the group me, and you know, hey, any suggestions? You know, I'm gonna put on the little text message along with the picture. Suggestions. I need some help. Is anybody available for an in and up real quick? And then I start asking questions. You know, hey, usually people take out life insurance for one of three reasons. The first reason being final expenses, making sure that a burial, a funeral, a cremation is taken care of. So when that time does come, when we do end up expiring, that financial burden doesn't fall back on anybody else in the family. Make sure that nobody has to beg, borrow, and steal, or start a GoFundMe page, or do a, you know, a barbecue or a fish fry to just make sure that you're taken care of. Now, the second reason why people typically take something out is what I call income replacement or any last second debt, making sure that a home's paid for. If you're reliant on your other spouse's income to, you know, pay bills, making sure that they have time to grieve and can pay their bills. And then the third reason why people typically take out insurance plans is what I call love insurance. So leaving a gift or legacy behind to loved ones, making sure that, you know, your kids, grandkid, friends, family member, whoever it may be, can go to college, buy a car, get a down payment on a home, whatever it may be, Miss Johnson. Why is insurance important to you? And they're going to sell themselves right then and right there. They're going to tell you exactly what makes them tick. They're going to tell you exactly what they want it for. And you're assuming the sale from, you know, the beginning of that step to the end. You know, I'm not going to ask them, okay, well, hey, you know, why do you want insurance? I struggled with this a lot when I first started. Like, I didn't really know what to do. I didn't like, I was whatever, 20 something years old. I don't really know the value of insurance, or didn't know the value of insurance at the time. So, you know, and I was new to sales. Like, I didn't know, you know, to assume the sale. Hey, you know, why is insurance important to you? Out of those three reasons, why were you looking for insurance? And like I said, they're going to tell you every single time.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's textbook, you know, the way you get them to get the policy. And I love the question asking. I think step 7 should be question asking. Romans, how do you, if any differently, get somebody to get their policy? Like, you're done with step 4, you know, they told you maybe they pointed to ARP. What's your next go-to? Like, what's your next flow?
I mean, mine's pretty much the same as him. You want me to go over the 3 types of people again? Or
Yeah.
it's pretty much
Do you do the oops ouch uh-oh?
do what?
Do you do the oops ouch no?
Yeah, yeah. Oops, ouch, and oh, same thing. You know, oops is somebody who has life insurance, you know, but either they don't know what they have or they're in the wrong type of plan. So what I mean by the wrong type of plan is their plan is either going to keep going up on them in cost or it's going to expire before they do, and they just don't know it yet. Ouch is somebody who has life insurance but are just paying way too much for it. You know, they either call somebody on the phone, saw something on TV, or got a letter in the mail. And then ouch is somebody who doesn't have life insurance, you know, but they know it's necessary, know they need it. You know, God forbid when something happens to them, they would hate for that financial burden to fall on their family and loved ones. Respectfully, which category do you feel like fits your current situation the best?
Maybe I don't know. Oh, oops, maybe.
Oops. Okay. So you have life insurance.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just too high. Like,
Awesome. Which company did you end up going with?
ARP.
Hey, ARP, that's a great company. We do a lot of work with them. Let me ask you something. When you got that policy in the mail and you sat down and read through that contract, did you ever see the words graded or modified written anywhere in there?
No, I think it's they said it's I don't know, the price never changes.
That's okay. It's probably a long time ago. Greater modify is just the verbiage they write in the contract, just tells you know if they got you in a waiting period or not. This is really important. What about the words mutual or fraternal? When you read through that, did you see that anywhere in there?
Man, they didn't say nothing about a waiting period. What
No, mutual fraternal. You didn't see that either.
was that?
Mutual fraternal. It's just what they write in the contract. It just tells you what kind of benefits and stuff you're getting. So ARP, great company, Miss Johnson. I do a lot of work with them. I'm gonna give them a call really quick because I want to make sure I have a couple things for you. I want to make sure one that's never gonna go up in price, make sure it's not gonna cancel on you, but most importantly, make sure you're getting all the benefits you're entitled to. So they're just gonna come on here, ask your name and birthday, and we're just gonna get some basic information from them.
I mean, that's textbook. That's what Max taught me, and obviously, I taught Romans, and
Yeah.
it's working. Guys, it's just creating doubt by asking people questions that they definitely don't know the answer to. Greater to modified all means 2-year wait, but the client doesn't know that. It's kind of a leading question. It's if they pick one, it's gotcha. They pick the other one, it's gotcha. That's bad. And so, falls right into our hands.
I will
Fraternal.
say, oh, my bad. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I will say, y'all, what I've seen people do is they start asking too many questions, which are the wrong questions. Which the first thing you want to know is what the name of the company is. The very first thing you want to know is what the name of the company is, so that way, when you're asking graded, modified, whatever, you can be looking that company phone number up. So whenever hey, I'm gonna give them a call, you're already calling. You're not going to ask them if you're calling, like it's already on. I don't have it on speaker yet, but I want to make sure that you're getting all the benefits you're entitled to. They're going to come on here and ask your name and birthday. Then I hit the speaker and it's already on, ringing.
That's one huge mistake that everybody makes as a new agent. The number one mistake when you're scrolling through the character pages right here, and somebody's like, "Oh, I got Gerber." It's like throwing a bone over there, and you as the dog is beeline towards it. Oh, when'd you get that policy? How much are you paying? Like, what is it? Do you know what it's about? Guys, when somebody's like, I got AARP, when you're showing them on the carrier page, great company, Miss Johnson, do a lot of, I got Gerber, great company, do a lot of, I got Lincoln Air, great company, do a lot of work with them. Keep scrolling, guys. Do not chase that bone. Do not ask about insurance until you go over the 3 types of insurance and you educate them and then give them a little confusion. Because if you chase that bone, that's it. And dude, it's sell or be sold. Like they threw it, you sold, they sold you. You went for it. You're not getting a sale. You're not. That's it. Great company, do a lot of work. Get down here. And then after this one, I don't do the 3 types. It's in here. The oops out your it's the new one, category 1, 2, 3. I don't really do that. I say, hey, Miss Johnson, people take out insurance for a couple main reasons. The most common that I see is mostly just to help cover final expense, because at the end of the day, as a husband, as a father, I would not want to be a burden on my family. I wouldn't want to put that financial bind on my family. So, I just want to have something in place. Heaven forbid something happens to me, it covers all the financial costs. Like they don't have to worry about that. Most people are like that. The second thing, people like to leave gifts behind. Maybe you want to help the kids or the grandkids, with a car or get through school. And some people have debts to cover, whether it be credit card bills, hospital bills, mortgage. Ms. Johnson, this phrase right here has made me so much money in life insurance. Now, Ms. Johnson, when you filled that card out, was it mostly for final expense or kind of a combination between all 3? Guys, they're about to tell you what's on their mind when they fill it. Brings it full circle to when they opened it up in the mail, they thought about it, flashing to like them seeing die. They don't want that to happen to them. We get through the presentation, they forget about that, but I'm bringing it full circle right here at the end. When you filled that card out, what were you thinking about? Was it mostly final expense or a combination? Not only does it bring it full circle, it starts the conversation about what their needs are and why I'm there. Okay. If they say, I just need cremation, well, bam, I already know where we're starting, right? I'm not showing them 25, 30, 35,000. Conversation opens up to, how much does a cremation cost these days? Oh, I need burial, or I need at least 15,000. Guys, it opens up the floor to having a conversation and the fact finding coming for like where we need to start quoting. And I'm also asking budget, right? Like in the one I sold today, I'm like, hey, look, she told me just my friend just died, my mom's friend just died, told me the story about like, I see him out here doing GoFundMe's and whatnot. I'm like, hey, I hear you definitely want to have this burial covered. And guys, I met with some funeral directors, one of them on our team, like use this for me. Hey, I meet with funeral directors from time to time just to keep my finger on the pulse, like what stuff's costing so I can help families better. I met with two, they told me the exact same thing, between $8,000 and $9,000 for the funeral. You can go crazy and buy the most expensive stuff, but look, I don't like putting on around $8,000, $9,000. That's before plot. It depends on where you are. If you're downtown Atlanta, land's more expensive. It's probably going to be 3,000. If you're out in the sticks, it might be 1,500. So I would say 10,000 is your absolute bare minimum. And then they're all shaking their head. Okay. Now anything over that, that's going to the family. So, we'll start at 10,000. How about I show you 10, 15, 20? Me, I'm really budget. Like if I go buy something, I already know what I'm going to pay for in my head. I go look at something and it's double what I'm going to pay for. If you talk to me about it, it's going in one ear out the other. So like, what do you need? Hey, I need 10,000, give me the best rate, or maybe I'm looking at 20 if you stay under a budget. Tell me what it is. And this lady was like, let's look at 10, 15 and 20. I showed her and then she's like, yeah, I mean, right now, just give me the 10. I definitely need the burial. And that was it. Like she told me what she wanted and I just took the order and got it done. That's it. Guys, when you get to this step, that's all you got to do. If they're telling you what they want, just make it happen. Do you do anything different, Carter, Brandon?
Slightly, real quick, what I was gonna say, before I get to this page, the no cost policy review, Craig Harvey says it all the time. The most important step is step number one, connecting. You have to know, like with 95% certainty or higher, that they're going to allow you to review their policy before you get to that page, right? You have to have connected enough. You have to have some form of rapport before you get to that page, or else you're going to get blocked. If you think, with a 95% chance, that you are going to be able to get to that policy review, you get into the page and they're still, slightly apprehensive or, blocking you a little bit. In my mind, that's when I want to create as much doubt as possible in what they have. Like, hey, the questions that Romans just asked are great. Those are my go-tos. Hey, did you know if that plan was graded or modified? Oh, you didn't? Okay. Well, did you know if you had the preferred or the standard rating? No, I think just the standard. Oh, goodness gracious. Well, did you have any health conditions when you had taken that plan out? Like, you have any kidney or liver disease? No, you don't. Okay, that's weird. Let's go ahead and give them a call real quick. What else was I going to say? Okay, actually, yes. What I was going to say was what you were just talking about a second ago, budget and amount of coverage. So I don't ask that until like after I have all of their policy information down. I might ask them about their goals, why they took it out first. And then I kind of ask that question. If they don't have any insurance, I'll ask the three different types of people that we run into. And then, hey, usually when people are taking out insurance, they're trying to do one of two things. They're either A, trying to stay within a budget, right? Hey, I can only afford $50 a month. Like most of our clients, most of the people that I help out are trying to stay within a budget. $50 a month, $60 a month, $100, $200. You're trying to fill them out a little bit, right? Or you're trying to hit a certain amount of coverage. I don't care what it costs. I need 20,000. I need 30,000. I need 50,000. I don't care. It could cost me an arm and a leg every single month. It doesn't matter. That's what I want. That's what I need. That's what I'm getting. Which type of person are you? Are you trying to stay within a budget? Or are you trying to hit a certain amount of coverage? And then, I'd probably say 90% of the time, they're going to say, oh, I'm trying to stay within a budget. Okay, well, what's your budget, Miss Johnson? What can you afford? What's going to be manageable for you every single month? It's not day insurance. It's not week insurance. It's not month insurance. It's life insurance. What's going to be manageable for you?
Yeah, guys, that's a good point because like when you ask that question, you're finding out, are they a value shopper? Like, are they just looking at what it cost, or do they want all those extra features? Like, are they buying the brand new Samsung TV? Or are they getting the Toshiba, right? And if is on budget and they're worried about the budget, you know what you got. Like all you got to do is find that number and don't go over it and deliver on that. But if they want all the features, well, this is also a chance to drive up the rate a little bit because they're value driven. Like they want to hear about all this extra stuff. So if you build up that value in this next step coming up, well, this is where you can get your bigger premiums, right? This is where you can add on a little bit. Go ahead.
Real quick, what I was going to say too, at this point, once they give you their motive, like why they need the insurance, like, hey, I need it for final expenses, and they give you the budget or they give you how much coverage they're really looking for, it should be a done deal pretty much every single time. Like you have the reason why they want it, and they told you their budget's $100 a month. They just gave you everything that you need to close it down. Now when you show them $97 a month for $15,000 worth of life insurance, which is going to cover their final expenses and leave a little bit of an extra behind, they can't say no. They can't walk away from that. Hey, well, we'll get into that in just a second, but I do want to do a carrier call real quick too, if we have time.
Yeah, I tie it down, especially like you said, if you know budget, hey, I need to be under $65 a month and I want to cover burial. I'm like, hey, Carter, I definitely think we can help you out with that. What you told me, you're in really good health. The rates right now, they're all discount. So, if I can find you something that's under 65 a month and cover your burial on the worst day of, Riley's life, is there any other reason why you wouldn't want to do this today?
I don't see why not.
All right, man. Well,
That they're going to sell themselves. They already sold themselves at that point. Like they already gave you the reason why they want it. They already gave you their budget or how much coverage they're looking for. They told you that they don't have a budget, whatever it may be. They're already sold. It's done.
So I don't want to keep everybody. It's already 9 o'clock, man. Let's do a carrier call next week. Let's do a carrier call and then go into step 7 and 8. I know we kind of skipped over the carrier call. We didn't do in and up. We'll do carrier call in and up and then hit 7 and 8 really good. But appreciate everybody jumping on till 9 o'clock, man. Y'all just
Yeah, that's the meat and the bolts. Y'all need to learn that. I mean, door approach, connecting, and step 4. Like that. Those are the